Hey, Robert G. How you doing? Had coffee way too late. Way too late. But here we go. Here we are. Hmm. I'm good. Had a bunch of stuff to run out for a post office this week. But I'm grateful to be able to do it. Knife collection has grown, and after today, shrunk significantly, so I'm happy about that. We had some good giveaways tonight. How are you, Robert? I didn't even ask. I apologize. Get that out of the way. Golly, they everywhere. So what I think I'm going to do tonight is work on my spoon some more. I got started on that. I'm almost where I can start carving on it. I did most of this with the hatchet. Um, but I am going to sharpen my hatchet first. Now that I've wet my whetstones, they should be wet enough to do what I need. But also, this is going to the giveaway tonight. From the giveaway tonight. So I'm going to put a good edge on it before I ship it out. Or as good an edge as I can produce anyway. Which has been, moderate to decent, I think. All right, film and foul. Film my face real quick. Then I'll be at it. Meantime, hit the like. These are the best wood chips. Mm. Mm, mm. All this came from this one spoon. I think Lyons dries his spoons in a bag of the shavings, which is pretty brilliant. I'll let mine collect over there. Let's move these out of the way for just a little bit. And we'll test all of these before we get too involved. First stone of the day. Gonna be a little rough at first because I did push these through. I took a little bit more angle off, a little bit more metal off. What I wanted was to be a little bit narrower on the way to that apex so that it wouldn't blunt out as easily. As I said, I'm no professional or expert knife maker at all, but a decent theory, and I'm on YouTube, so I mean, you know, that's something, right? Just kidding. Well, these stones have been soaking for maybe 2 hours now, so they should be plenty wet. I don't know what they look like on the screen. People are being stingy with the likes tonight. It happens. It happens. I appreciate the gifts that I get, you know. The ones that I don't, hey, I guess we gotta say it's a free world. Smooth as silk, says CB. It's getting there. That's feeling better already. I'm gonna flip over and get the 1,000 grit. But before we do, we'll go ahead and flatten that out. We had some curved blades on there a couple days ago. I want to make sure we get that to nice and flat. Oops, sorry guys. And we just keep going until it's dead smooth, which is, same color throughout. Once we got that, we know where we want to be. We're going to rinse it off. Get that little slurry off of there. Right back to it. This is 1,000 grit. The first was a 400 grit. Probably made 40, 50 passes each side. I don't generally count. It's probably good practice too. I tend to sort of listen and feel for a little bit of difference in the sound and the vibration. Tells you when that blade is sort of smoothing out. I'm going to get that little slurry off of there. I think at the 1,000 grit stage, I don't want the same. I don't want that on there. As I understand it, as you move up in grit, you do want some of that slurry. But I'm not sure where the line is. 1,000 grit now. This is how I'm sharpening now. I don't know that this will be how I'll sharpen forever. This is definitely not how I've sharpened historically. Before I was doing the opposite, dragging the knife away from the apex, which was working. I can't say I didn't get results that way. I did get results that way. I have since been taught this technique by people I know and trust, who are very good sharpening knives. And I've adapted this technique, or adopted this technique, I should say. It seems to work out good. I think the theory is you may be able to find your edge or feel your edge a little bit better this way, or a little bit easier this way. And easy is very important for beginners in almost everything. And I think it keeps the burr at bay a little bit better. Or a little differently. But you can always adapt your own technique and things. This is a 3,000 grit here. We're just going to go ahead and get right into that. Now, as I understand it, anybody in the chat, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, that around this grit is where you want to keep the slurry. bells, Batman smells from a late leg. Batmobile lost its will, Joker got away. Yeah. Jingle bells, Batman smells from a late leg. Batmobile lost its will, Joker got away. Yeah. I'm holding my angle, dragging my knife, moving it across the stone. Tip comes off at the same angle that everything else started at. See? Just like that. There's not a lot of reason to rush this process. Most people who need a good sharp knife would rather take the time to do it. This is not a field exercise, obviously. You wouldn't want to take this to the job site. But if you got space in your shop, get yourself a set of whetstones. I feel like I kind of dug in a little bit there. Now we're going to hit the 3,000. We're going from the 3,000, we're going to go to the 8,000 grit. But we are going to clean that 8,000 up. See that? That means there's a bow in there. Knock down the rest until it gets to that level and flat again. This whole Amazon kit, less than 30 bucks. All right, I'm gonna call that enough for that particular knife. We're gonna move on to the strop. And we've already got some green on there, so we're just gonna move forward. With the strap, we do want to lead and follow with the That's the edge we're after. Uh-oh. It's a glitch. It's a glitch. See if we can find it. It's right there. snags right there. Just a little bit. See what it does on the wood. We are going to correct it. We do want to see what it does on the wood. That's beautiful. That's beautiful how well I handle that. Look at there. Hugely impressed with this. I'll show you. Stuff everywhere. But this is from table saw blade. Cut it in the shop. Formed it in the shop. And we built what was a pretty cool little knife. Easy sleeve. Magnet. Hey, Amistry from Chicago. Man, y'all are probably freezing because we are cold in Atlanta. So you are probably catching it. I think we got a nice, successful edge. It's going out to our lucky winner. Don't know if this edge is there yet. Let's try it. Maybe have more paper. Nope. So let's go ahead and get this one in shape. Thought you was gonna catch me slipping. Same technique. 400 grit. I'll pull this one. Now the pace and the length of my pull is going to depend on how long my blade is, right? So I'm always going to start on the edge, and I'm going to try to finish on this edge and get the maximum. Just so you can see, right? So I get the whole way in one motion. I'm even going to put a little bit of an angle on this, right? Just across like that, if you can see that better, so I can get more blade contact as I go. More surface area. Put a little bit more water on my stone. Lows in the single digits. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't do anything. I'd be in the house. I'd go out for firewood and company. That's it. I am probably relatively slow with this technique, which I've learned is a pretty good idea when you don't know what you're doing, or if you're developing what you're doing. Go slow. Do it as right as you can, as slow as you can, and still be somewhat effective. And technique will come with time and practice. But only from practice of good technique. Speed comes all on its own. And this may be max speed, who knows? And if it is, so what? Yeah, this is a 400 grit stone. We've been getting a lot of rain this week. Like, not a lot of rain as in we're getting flooding, but a lot of rain as in it's a constant mist. And ugh. I dislike it. I guess we need it. It's 400. I'm going to switch to the 1,000 grit stone. Your 400 is going to kind of give you your baseline. If you're not sharp after that, it's not going to get sharper. But if it is sharp after that, what you can get is refined, which is kind of sharper. I'm a little bit obsessed, like every time I get good at a sharpening system, I find out there's a new layer of sharp that I have yet to achieve. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Ron's Homemade. But Ron's Homemade Knives, I believe he's in Canada. And he makes these amazing uh, knives, like I think hunting knives and stuff like that, bushcraft type stuff. Really amazing sharp. Like the stuff he cuts and the ease in which he does it is amazing. I wouldn't even try it just yet. Like I'm working on, but he's an official blacksmith. Like he's putting, making the steel and forging it and a whole nine. These are X saw blades that I've cut into these shapes and made handles for and upcycled into what I think is a decent knife. But we wouldn't know that till we have decent edge on it. But man, do I like watching the next level of almost anything, you know, when you see somebody who's just masterful at something, pretty amazing to watch. I'm gonna apologize preemptively and post for anybody who's typing to me in the chat. Just because I'm pulling this knife and I'm not yet good enough to do it without keeping my eyes directly focused on it. I cannot read your chats, but I will pause right now and do that real fast. Got about 8 inches of snow the day after Thanksgiving. Love it. Yeah, that would be nice. Chuck Taylor and Murga K. Loud Chicken Party. Okay. All right. Thanks. Thanks for the update on the chicken party. News at 11. Back at it, Pilato. I'm gonna make sure that these knives I send out are gonna be nice and sharp for the new owners. How you doing? You back at it? This is usually vampire hours for you too, yeah? That edge is getting there. Shout out to Cutting Lace EDC. Like button activated. Thank you, Bo. Just amped up for the game tomorrow. Oh yeah, you got the big game. This must be a championship. Forgive me for not following or knowing anything about college football. It's been a long time for me. But I do remember the excitement of your team in the big game. Or are you talking about the game that you're participating in? Oh, been watching a bunch of previews. I get that. I had coffee. Way too late. So, gosh, that edge is starting to look good. I hope that means something other than just looking good, I swear. Now, this happened. I've shined up a nice blunt edge plenty of times. Big 12 football championship game, BYU, the alma mater, with a chance of redemption against Texas Tech. That sounds like an important game for the pride of the old BYU. My college alma mater had no sports teams, just a bunch of art dorks. And me, of course. Oh, your son and your, oh, that's it right there. These are classic core memories in the making. Look at the light come off of that. I really get excited about that little bit of a little bit of light. All right, let's check it on the spoon. Let's check it on the spoon. Ooh. Oh, wait, look at that. That will do it, pig. I'd like to explain to you how this feels, but I think you know. But man, that's sharp, sharp. That is surprisingly happily very, very sharp. I like it. Pretty good. Let's see if we got something we can cut up. Let's see if it'll cut stuff. That was very smooth and slow. All right, enough. Pretty sharp. So that's going to be enough. What are we trying to get done? And we got a nice sharp blade and a nice snug case. This one has not been won yet and will be up for grabs this following Friday. This is two woods. This is a Purple Heart that has been sun dried and heat treated. And this is just a raw, sanded down to smooth maple. And both of them have boiled linseed oil on them, but they are going to get another coat tonight. I wanted to get it nice and sharp first so I didn't have to worry about that blade. So let's do that real fast. And we are also going to do a little linseed oil on this one so we can get it sent off. Both of these got super sharp tonight. So I'm happy about it. But as you know, the boiled linseed oil, you reapply it multiple times. Let it soak in until it won't soak in anymore. And then that's when you're done. Thanks you everybody for those 49 likes. That's a lot of attention for me, so I appreciate it very much. I'll put a little linseed oil on this. And it just kind of changes the maturity of the thing, right? It's a little bit more serious looking. A little bit more exotic looking. I'm going to put it on pretty heavy up here. Oof. And the great thing about this is once it's got enough coats on it that it is soaked in truly, it will continue to look like this once we get our final finish on. Completely custom handmade knife that we will be giving away next Friday for free for you. There we have it. Everybody subscribe and come back next week for a chance to win this beautiful knife. Absolutely. In fact, I'm going to pin that comment. Thanks, Pilato. Wonderful. I really do like how this Purple Heart turned out. I'm going to show you real quick what it looked like originally. I've got a little of that left. It's the same wood. Just treat it differently. That is also the same wood. Just treat it differently. So, a little creativity goes a long way, right? I gotta keep this clean during the linseed oil process. All right, I'm gonna set this over to the side a little bit. Maybe right here is okay. And then we'll get this one straight. This is the knife that we gave away today. Comes with its own Purdue sheath. I'm going to rub this in a little bit, and it helps work it into the fibers. I learned that from an old timer in the woodworking game. Which might be just one of the more beautiful knives on YouTube. And not just because of me, but because of this dynamic wood here. Very nice. Wait a minute. Tell us how I made the blade. Let me tell you. What I did was upcycled old table saw blade. I cut it with my grinder, and there are a lot of different grinder blades. There are a lot of different grinders out there. I use a DeWalt with a Diablo blade that happens to not be right here right now. But I cut it out, came up with the design for this. In my little notebook. Anyway, I drew it out. Imagine this is in a notebook. Anyway, I drew it out, and then I basically carved these. Once I got this shape, I sandwiched them together, and then I carved them down together, or sanded them down on the belt sander together. And then I cut my knife edge. Yeah, it's a process. And I've got some definite videos of it on some shorts. But if you want to see that, and some long form lives like this. Them bevels, though, yeah. Here's the thing, right? I'm not great yet at the consistency in that I don't have the equipment that can give me perfect all the way across. But with the stones, I can at least control this very edge pretty well and can keep me a good sharpenable edge on this thing. Because remember, this is coming from a saw blade, so I have to get it down myself. And what I try to do is get a little flatter on one side than the other. Like this side is flatter. Just because I think that'll make for a sharper angle and maybe a sharper knife. You can see that's kind of my fat side, and that's kind of my flat side, relatively speaking. Yours is confused. That's a lot of question marks, man. Did you say something to me? Did I not want to shape the handle? I don't know what you mean. This handle is shaped. Like, none of this was like this is a fully built thing. So do you mean like this part right here? And you could be referring to that. I don't know. But I've been calling this a sheath, this part. And I like the shape of it. And I did the shape of it mostly for that reason. Also, all of these are made from scratch. Cut the handle out of the wood, cut the blade out of something else, and then made the sheaths, put magnets in them. That's how they hold in. Same for this one. But this one though is kind of fidgety, right? This one also play with it sometimes. What steel am I using for the blades? Thanks, Jabberwocky. It's the steel that's made just for table saw blades. It's already pre-tempered and all that stuff. So all I have to do is cut it out. Not that that's a. Come on, I'll show you exactly what I made. This blade made this blade something like that. But all of these knives came from this one blade. Thank you, Irina. I appreciate it. But yeah, we got them nice and sharp tonight. Oops. Yeah, the magnets are really good at keeping them in place. I don't have to make them too snug that way. And then they're very accessible that way. But you know you won't lose them. This one's very snug. It's a lot more hardy. But the butt of this thing, you know what I mean? Nice. But that's also from this blade somewhere. Same for this. Hey, Gio, thank you, thank you. Yes, Irina, they are all brothers. These are all real family. And these two are also brothers. However, these two came from another machete. And I cut these two blades out of an old machete. And this was my very first knife. It's my number one that I ever made. Thank you, Gio. Looks dangerous. Where am I from? I am from North Carolina. I'm currently in Atlanta, well, Douglasville, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. But that's where I've been for the last 30 years, somewhere hereabouts Atlanta. Do I have an everyday carry? For the last maybe month or two, I've been making knives, and each time I make one, I do everyday carry it right here in that little watch pocket. And all of these are small enough to go in that watch pocket. And then I just carry them like that. Now, for a pocket knife, as a contractor, I have two. This is a little Kershaw, very durable, very hardy, very easy to tuck. And then I've got this little tiny little Gerber that if I'm fancy and dressed up, I can put this in, tuck it, boom. Never know it's there, don't feel it. Super easy. Leaf spring, saw blades, anything high carbon. Yep. Jabberwocky says, dude, we got to get together. I'm just northwest of you. Seriously? Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Personally, I have between 3 and 5 on me at all times. Nice. Nice. I've usually got one of these two tucked away and then one of these. But these are all going away. And I'll continue to make more. Like my last knife is always my favorite. Um, because there's more thought. Like each time there's another new idea that incorporates, and that's always very exciting. So I don't ever really regret giving anything away. Not anything that I've made. Do I heat treat my saw blades? No. No, they're already heat treated when I get them, but I make sure that I don't overheat them when I cut them. Like, see, I'll cut them wide like that. You see how when you cut them rough, it starts to do bad things and discolor the metal. That's how you know you're kind of ruining it. But you see, it only goes as far. So I keep them away and then I trim it down with the sanding discs. And that doesn't create as much friction, as much heat, and it disperses better. And then I get nice, clean steel like that on the other side of it. And again, all of this is to the best of my own understanding at this particular point in time. I could be completely full of it and don't know it yet. Are there any more folding knives? Where you just cut them out and make the knives? Yeah, I just cut them out with a grinder. I'm absolutely obsessed with the blades, dude. Sammy, that's awesome. Me too. Me too. I love these. And each time I've made one, I've been very excited about getting the opportunity to make it. You love swords? Oh, that's awesome. My nephew loves swords. He collects swords. I don't know what kind. I don't know much about swords. But yeah. These are the ones we did, and I think we got what's going out pretty sharp. See how that just clicks into place? It's so nice. So easy, so nice. This one goes in nice and snug. It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like a heavy duty. That one's going to Calvin, Dad's workshop. This one does not have an owner yet. This one does. This one got a new owner tonight. Do I have a shop? Yeah. This one is my best with blue. This one here? Yeah, I like it. Like a magnet. Your 52 on hardness scale. Oh, maybe I could do that. Do you like your scales? Nice work. I do. I do like my scales. I am looking into some heat treatment though, but that's good to know, Gio. I have seen people use in smaller applications like this. I've seen them use the torches. I've seen them do that and heat treat them and then dip them in the oil. I've never done it. I've also seen people bake them in the oven after that. Oven for 2 hours. Let's see. Get them up to temperature and I dip them in canola oil. And then 450 in the oven for 2 hours. How hot do they have to get up to? I've ever made a knife out of a sawzall blade. I think you're saying sawzall blade. For me, no, I have not. I've not encountered a sawzall blade that is thick enough to do what these seem to be able to do. I haven't personally, and I don't know how to forge, so it's really necessary because the saw blade is just plain too soft without it will harden with the proper heat treatment. Okay. Well, that's a good thing to know. We might have to do that on some of this stuff. But I appreciate you giving me that info. As soon as I get it blue cutting, you're killing any treatment that saw blade had. No, yeah, but see, when I get it blue, because I'll show you, like, see how on the back of this, all that's nice and clean? It's because I cut it and give myself a bunch of room. And so I don't let the heat part get back to the knife after it's cut out. And I don't cut it tight enough to the tolerances that the part of it that's gonna actually be knife is affected by that heat, if that makes any sense. After forge, you can use a small fire pit if you have to, but some DeWalt Sawzall blades, that's what's up, Sammy. Yeah, gotta have a forge. You can use a small fire pit if you have one. Yeah. Say Sawzall blades are great carbon steel. Good to know. Good to know. But are they thick enough though? I think that's what I'd be concerned about if they get wobbly or wanky. But I don't know. Milwaukee's make a nice fillet knife. I didn't think of that. Fillet knives are pretty skinny, thin, nice and curved. This knife is going to be used, I believe, in skinning animals. What do you think of that? Will we have to sharpen it too often? Curious minds want to know. Am I on Facebook? How can we hook up? Yeah, and all my social media, I'm West Desert. Do this though. Email me at West Desert, spelled just like that, at gmail.com. And just be like, yo, it's me. And make sure you say Jabberwocky. You know, I know that's not your real name, but that way I know who you are. Pilato's gonna try to get some sleep. Thanks for the live, Wes. And we'll see you next time. All right, Pilato, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you guys have not subscribed, you should go check out Pilato. Check out his channel. He's got some cool stuff over there. He does some great work, and he's quite entertaining. The dude sounds like a radio DJ. It's so cool. But super nice guy. Great husband and father. And those are the kinds of people we need on the channel. And that's the kinds of people we tend to keep on the channel. So good night, Pilato. I hope you have a great night. I guess I'm going to follow suit too. And I appreciate you all. Thanks for hanging out with me on my little knife collection. And remember, this is the one. If you subscribed and you want to win it, Friday, this one's going out to somebody with that beautiful shimmery handle. Right now I'm making 2 knives out of broken Sawzall blades. That'll be awesome. It really is, Gio. You know, I find that great satisfaction in any of these things, you know. But I always looked at knives as something a little bit beyond me. Well, a lot beyond me, if I'm being honest. And I saw a couple other people make them, and it kept coming up, and I said, I'm going to have to try it. And I'm so grateful I did. I think it's going to lead to more, and I think it's going to lead to better knives, functionally. As we learn, we're going to do better, and as we grow, we're going to do better. But until then, we're going to give it away. All of our experiments go away to our subscribers and our members and those who are showing up in the chats like you all. So I appreciate it very much. I appreciate that, man. The sheaths are just a fun part of it for me. It started out as basically a substitute for not knowing leather work. But I am going to learn some leather work. I'm not going to do a whole lot, but I'm definitely going to do something so I can make some little pouches and stuff like that. Save me a little wood, even though I like doing the woodwork. Working on a monster bow tie right now, the Toyota Tundra Spring. Wow. Monster Bowie. That's a bow tie. Bowie knife. This one was made out of a machete. It's crude, admittedly. It's my first knife. But I do like it still. But it's nowhere nearly as thick as that what you're talking about. That's going to be a nice, hardy knife. Try sharpening the back of a sawzall blade. Often. Amistry says, I'm going to be tuning in more often. Great new channel I discovered. I'm so glad you did. I'm glad you found us. Thanks for hitting the likes. And I appreciate any of you who are joining us and subscribing or even becoming members, because it helps the channel and it helps me do more stuff. So this is awesome. I love that you guys like what I'm doing so far. I will continue to keep working at it, but I am going to let you go now because if I talk too much, my views drop, and I don't want to bore you to death. I'm better with my hands than I am on my mouth. But I'll get out of here. Y'all have a great night or a great day wherever you are. Appreciate you coming by. Thank you, Irina. You've been here a whole while. Thank you, Sam. Thanks, Amistry 605. and whoever else was jumping in the chat and chatting it up with me. I appreciate you. Definitely hit me up on that email, man, and me and you'll hook up, go hang out. West does it. Peace.